Right now, Toledo Public Schools unveiled plans to cut millions of dollars from its budget.
The district is facing a $68 million deficit. Now it's looking at closing schools, moving students, and slashing its spending.
Tatiana Cash is live to break down some of these changes for us. Tatiana, what can you tell us?
Well, no, when it comes to some of the biggest changes last night, which were just proposed, again, nothing is set in stone right now, but proposed, several elementary schools could be closed down. In addition to one of the high schools is going to be changed into a magnet school. Now, last night, the school board heard from the Transformation Plan Oversight Committee. And while the proposed changes may not seem like a big deal to some, because TPS is one of the largest school districts within the state of Ohio, these changes, though, are going to be huge to hundreds of families impacted. 6 elementary schools would be closed, forcing hundreds of children to be redistricted. Bowsher High School is proposed to become an arts and science academy. Additionally, Bowsher and Start High Schools would enroll 7th and 8th graders for career tech programs. And while these are all, again, just proposed changes, Bowsher's head football coach says he sees it from both sides when it comes to the district as well as the students' perspective on this.
I think the uncertainty is what hurts the kids. You want to be invested in something in the place that you've been at for so many years, and then to have to switch, that's hard for the kids. But I think the kids would adjust, but at the same time, you just don't want to have a drastic change like that so late in especially the season as far as football.
And again, this at this point is just a proposal. An actual vote to confirm what would go on is not going to happen until April 28th. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
So, Tatiana, with these closures and the redistricting, we're also seeing changes in start times as well.
Yeah, so the proposed changes when it comes to start times will be different. I kind of feel bad when I talk about this in terms of high school students. Now, high school students, it's going to change and go a little bit earlier. Right now, they open at about 8 a.m. The proposed going to go to 7:30. So those parents who have to fight with their high school students, this could be a problem. Additionally, when it comes to some of the elementary schools, no specifics on what it is, but some would be earlier at 8:25, and then others would be actually later at 9:25. So that one does depend. As of right now, there's no specifics on which schools, because again, we're still talking about closing them as well. So the details still need to be fleshed out. But earlier for some, possibly later for others, but all still up in the air. Tatiana Cash, WTOL 11.
All right, Tatiana, thank you. District leaders acknowledge these are deep cuts, but say they're necessary to keep TPS running. Superintendent Dr. Romulus Durant says the building changes help spread students out. And he also talked about cuts to staff.
It could come in essence of a freeze, and which will help salvage those positions, or in moving forward on reductions of staff to do just as well.
Dr. Durant says those staff cuts will save the district about $10 million. Now, the impact of new start times isn't the only one your family could feel.
Transportation is expected to change for thousands of students. Under the proposal, a 1-mile walk zone will remain in place, meaning students who live within a mile of their school will not be bused.
But as elementary schools close or merge, some students will be reassigned further from home, possibly adding miles to their daily commute. So we did the math. Harvard Elementary on Glendale would merge with Beverly Elementary, which is on Detroit. That's close to 2 miles, about a 5-minute drive. On the east side, Navarre Elementary is on Kingston, and those students will be reassigned to Birmingham, East Broadway Elementary, Garfield, or Raymer. Birmingham is about 8 minutes from Navarre. East Broadway is about 6 minutes, and both Garfield and Raymer are 4. Now, keep in mind, this is just a small sampling of what some of those commute times could look like, and those drive times do not take bus stops into account.
Another key piece of TPS's proposal plan centers around athletics. When we first told you about the deficit last year, people were concerned that sports could go away at Bowsher High School, but now that may not be the case. The district says sports teams will only be offered if they're considered, quote, viable to compete in OSHA competition. So essentially it comes down to numbers. We spoke with the coaches of Bowsher's football and girls basketball programs who tell us they feel they're in good shape.
I was a little leery at first, but I'm very happy that they see the importance of our legacies that have built here.
Me actually getting a chance to sit down and hear what was proposed, I think it doesn't affect the students as much as we thought it would have. So I think they're going to still stick around and actually build something here. They understand the value of sports and what it can do, even for a magnet school, you know what I'm saying? So Bowser being a performing arts school, sports are still important to them. So I think that was great to actually hear.
Coaches say even with Bowser becoming a magnet school for performing arts, he's glad to see sports is still considered important. But again, it's important to note if a school's athletic program isn't considered viable by the district, we could potentially see fewer teams affiliated with the OSHA instead become club teams there.
Right now, district leaders are trying to find ways to close its deficit. It announced plans, but it's well short of fixing its budget shortfall. And that plan would bring $27 million in savings. But again, that budget deficit is $68 million. More than $9 million in those reductions are coming from budget cuts.
But that's not even half of the deficit, with no word on where it plans to make up the rest of the savings. We do know that the district had recently made about 100 staff cuts.
We are going to continue to follow this story for you. Make sure you stay with us on air and online and on WTOL 11 Plus as we bring you the latest updates.